The iRacing NIS series is back for 2025, allowing all of us to live our dreams of becoming a stock car racer. My goal this year is to try to compete in all 36 races of the official Open Setup series and also compete in all 38 rounds of both the Xfinity and the Truck Series. That means a total of 112 races throughout the year. I only get one shot at each of these events though, so if I get wrecked on lap 1, that's my hopes for that week's race in that series over. This week we are racing here. Get yourself subscribed and help us reach our goal of 20,000 subscribers. In these videos, cautions will be removed, but all the racing laps are left in, so let's do this thing. Well, here we are then back at Homestead, Miami once again, this time round for the truck race, of course. Cup, the last time out, yeah, didn't go well for me. And it looks like, again, I'm going to be fed to the lions here. We run a 2.7k SOF lobby tonight. I am the second lowest ranked car here. I believe all I need is a 17th place finish to try and gain some iRacing. But ultimately, yeah, I just want to survive this one and get to the end in one piece. Of course, had my first DNF of the season in that cup race, and I'd rather get a couple of good results under my belt here at Homestead in this, and hopefully the Xfinity race as well. Have to wait and see whether things get quite chaotic quite quickly. All of my practice has basically just been dedicated to trying to hold the car steady up on the high line as well. But, you know, this race could be quite chaotic. Might be quite a clean one for all I know. Of course, you'd hope that quicker drivers generally are going to be a little bit kind of cleaner to race with. There's already one truck up in the wall. Plenty of shuffling around up towards the front of the order. But I think, yeah, we definitely lost a couple of places on lap 1 as well. I mean, round here, say, as we saw from the weekend's racing as well, obviously IRL, it is all about just trying to hug the wall as best as you can. I'm not quite confident in, you know, having the truck kind of right up there. So I'm basically just trying to hold it in kind of this highest groove around the venue and kind of seeing how well that sticks for me. So kind of that black marker there, about kind of 40% away off the wall on the track width. That's kind of my goal, to stay above that as best as I can. So as much as anything else, I'm hoping we can kind of try and just learn the skill of holding the line as well. Although a lot of people seem to be kind of holding the inside line. Whether that's just trying to get kind of tyres up and everything like that and build a bit of a rhythm, I don't really know. Of course, the problem with holding the high line is, you know, if someone else drifts up, you haven't really got anywhere to run. Or if you drift up a little bit, oh, that's exactly what I'm on about. I'll do the old up and under. Already seems to be a bit of shuffling around a bit further behind as well. And in front of us. But yeah, that was a bit of a scary moment. Going through the final corner, managed to luckily gather up our truck and get around that guy as well. As you just see how difficult it is in the middle of the kind of race surface as well. Just try and keep the back end in check. So yeah, I don't think we're going to try and do anything too risky. We're just going to try and hold our high line. Normally didn't get to hear kind of when the fuel window is going to shut. Don't really want to give too many bumps around this venue either. Team reckon there's 200 laps worth of fuel in the truck. I'm not quite convinced that's going to be the case. Normally, you've just got to pit once in these races. So we go 3 wide there temporarily. I got a little bit close for comfort. The 12 on our outside was confident he was trying to go for it. So I tried to avoid him there, and I apologise for dooring the 24, but I mean, like I said, this is just going to be, like I said, for me, it is just about trying to get to that flag. So I want to make sure that if I can do both other races this week, that I get to the end in both of them here. And although, yeah, we're using a very, very different line to pretty much everybody else, it's the line I feel more confident with, and that is rather important. We're still, I mean, repeat 20 at the moment, so we're not like right at the back of the field just yet. But of course, what I struggled with in Vegas last week was obviously trying to look after the tyres as well. So I actually cooked my rubber, I believe, in the Xfinity race. Really did screw us over. But yeah, so that's the other big goal, of course, just trying to be smooth, nice and careful trying not to take too much out of the tyre either. That high line is starting to work a little bit better for me. We're not kind of dropping away from some of these trucks just in front.
Light 10, car number 11 is now in the lead.
But of course, you only get a real idea of kind of how well you are stacking up a bit later on in the stint. A fairly clean, composed start, though. This is the kind of racing you want to have a bit more of in these series. But yeah, it certainly means if you make a mistake by yourself, you're not going to have as much of an opportunity to catch up. Still, I think, apart from obviously Kota, I don't think I've had a caution-free race yet, as speaking of. Someone flies down below the apron. But yeah, still waiting kind of for that first caution-free race. Vegas last week would have been, had I not... Well, I was spinning and then someone did ram me. Didn't actually realise until I went back through the replay. But yeah, someone did tap me out, which is why we ended up kind of down on the infield there as well. So yeah, that race was the closest we've had to going caution-free so far this season. That's all you just see there as the air gets on the rear quarter from the 24.
Still there.
Just getting a little bit loosey-goosey once again. I'm hoping this isn't taking too much out of our tyres either. That's the other goal. I'm also just trying to make sure I keep it at the wall as best as I can. But you can see it's definitely a competitive enough line. You know, the 24 isn't kind of going past me or anything like that. More and more trucks are opting for it. Definitely seems to be a little bit of kind of a shift coming from some of our other drivers as well. I mean, we're already 10 laps in. I'm hoping to do the Xfinity race straight after this, as long as it finishes quick enough. Got about an hour to run this run before the Xfinity race. Oh, there's a bit of bumping and bashing just up in front again. People have done a pretty good job to try to avoid too much chaos. But are we already just starting to see kind of frustration start to bubble to the surface? People trying to squeeze each other just a little bit more. I think kind of the 5 or 6 of us at the back of the field here, we might not be in a bad spot. Try to avoid some stuff if kind of up towards the top 10. I mean, look at that. There's 3 or 4 of them there, pretty much dooring each other. Coming in towards turn 3. So the big thing I've just got to be careful of is trying to get the power down smoothly off of turn 4. Trying to make sure that I keep it clean.
That was 33.77.
Quite surprising, the 24's actually got the fastest lap of the day so far. I've already gone quicker than I did in qualifying, which is rather impressive. Nice and early. My qualifying lap was terrible. It was just about trying to get a lap on the board. I got loose on the first run. So yeah, just tried to make sure that I got time on the board that was somewhat competitive. But ultimately, yeah, still left me as, I think, the slowest qualifier ready for this race. Is all the 12 truck there just slaps the wall in front of me.
The lap time was at 33.71.
Don't need to brake much in these trucks either, unlike the Cup car. Really are just kind of nudging the brake on the way in and then just carrying the momentum around the wall there. Again, just trying to stay out of that wall as best as I can. See the 9 truck now, I think had a bit of a moment. Might try and go back down. Try and get around him. Definitely not going to happen that time round. There'll again be a bit of checking up on the exit. I think we're 3 wide. I think we're still 3 wide. I got no idea. Whoa, there's a wall there, Matt. Alright, not to lose too much momentum as the 9 truck is definitely running a bit too slow. Somehow sneak around the outside there. I think we were 3 wide. And look at the run we get off the corner. Fortune favours the brave occasionally on iRacing. If anything, in my experience, it often favours the stupid, which should bode better for me. But of course, yeah, Eugene and I did win Sebring at the weekend, so maybe that works out just all right for us there. We definitely gained a couple of spots that lap, though, up into P18, which I believe would be neutral iRating for me. Race Labs just slightly guessing our position wrong there, I believe. I think we're up in P15. I'd love to be. Maybe we will. Who knows? But already, yeah, 15 laps ticked off in this one. I guess the other big thing, of course, is, you know, when do you pit in this kind of race as well? That was a little bit of understeer on the way through. But you can definitely see more and more drivers struggling using that inside line. Just have to try and get the truck off the wall.
Light inside's clear. Car low.
still battling with this 24 truck. This has been brilliant so far. Oh, a little bit of a correction. Just use, you know, you got that flatbed in the back. Just use that to try and keep the car off the wall without damaging any of the important stuff. It's important as well at this stage, but yeah, definitely those tyres already not feeling particularly enjoyable. Oh, sorry, that was the 21 truck even, not the 24. So, definitely still got a lot of battles. I mean, look at that, yeah, more and more trucks opting for the high line now. I think if you can find the grip on the low side, it does work still. It probably is a bit quicker, but I feel like the high side is just slightly less risky, which is very useful for us. I think the big thing as well, of course, especially in a higher SOF race like this, people will be better at looking after their tyres. So it's going to be important for me just to be able to hang on pretty much as far as anybody else can, because, you know, the most likely time I think you're going to get a caution in a race like this is when people start pitting. So the goal will be try not to pit kind of before others do, unless we feel like we're getting absolutely screwed over by the tyres. You can definitely start seeing now, because people that are just a little bit better at it, starting to reap the rewards as well. I just have not quite figured out, you know, I try and save tyres like a circuit racer. That doesn't work on ovals. You got to do it a little bit differently. Someone apologising a little bit further back. See, there are definitely some moves starting to come in. It's just about being nice and steady, nice and smooth. Just allowing that rear end to slide a little bit just to give yourself that bit of extra rotation. There is actually a lot of the steering done around here on the back axle as well, which is so fun when you get it hooked up, but so scary when you don't. So just trying to be really, really careful with it. Definitely finding more kind of a rhythm of it, and hopefully the lap times will showcase that as well. As I mean, comparing last laps, we weren't that far away from still your front runners here, so I think we can not, you know, be right towards the front or anything, but I think we can hang as there we go. That's going to be a caution. Try and make sure we get around that. So I think, yeah, we'll most likely box for tyres, get some fuel on board as well, and that might be the only pit stop we need to make in this race. Well, getting ready to go green once again then here. We're pretty much back to where we qualified as we're about to go. I think a couple of cars have got a lap down, but we haven't quite got enough fuel to get to the end just yet. We need another caution, all to be very, very good at an economy drive throughout the next part of this race. Getting ready then, and it is going to be green flag racing there already. A lot of bumping and bashing around on the outside line, so we will try and dive to the inside, try and get around a couple of people in the process. But now is the fun bit of obviously trying to get some temperature back up in the tyres there, not really to take really any risk off of turn 1 and turn 2. We were just trying to claim the places and almost up into the top 10 already, albeit only probably temporarily, I'm sure. Because I'm sure, yeah, a lot of people will go back past me. Faster, better, more experienced people than myself. As that 22 almost pushing me towards the wall. That's a little bit scary. But again, we will just opt for this high line and see how well it works for us there. I mean, we're up to P11 then. So yeah, that restart had worked out really nicely for us. Indiana truck there just slapped the wall as well. So trying to look around the outside of Loris there. Down the back straight. So again, people opting for the low line off of the restarts. But say that 22 truck not looking very quick. Go 3 wide back in towards turn 1. Yeah, there you go. Another position has been gained, so we were temporarily inside the top 10. Yeah, that 13, I mean, there's some people that just look comfortably quicker than me, still comfortably more confident, as you would expect, you know, with more iRacing, and things like that. You know, this is really a year of just trying to build up confidence and experience on the ovals, you know, making mistakes and learning from it, and everything else there is all the 5 tucks in right underneath a 13 there, back in towards turn 1. Now a 13 trying to use the high line through turn 1 and turn 2. Can We try and get the run off the corner. Oh, I had to just lift out of the throttle.
Still there.
We'll still get the run though down this back straight.
Still there.
Maybe we can try and get around him
Hold your
now.
line.
Nice and easy. Just trying to roll on the throttle gradually off of turn 3 and turn 4. It's definitely a lot more sketchy
The guy in front is
than turn 1 and turn
car
2,
number 11.
but
Turn to
again, I'm
position.
just a bit worried about the tyres. You know, will everybody else now be focusing on, you know, if we don't get another caution, trying to get those tyres to the end of the afternoon? Like I said, the fuel's the other interesting one. It reckons we've got 45 laps worth of fuel, so we'd be about 7 short. I wonder if the low line is a little bit better, obviously, for saving some of that fuel as well. Just going to have to keep an eye on that. Try and do as sensibly as good a job as we can without kind of it dominating.
He's still there.
Kind of until we get past sort of lap 60.
Still there.
Although then again, that doesn't really give us much time to kind of
Still
adapt
there.
to it, does it? I think if we say lap 50,
Still there.
that's when we'll kind of start consciously worrying about it. Of
Still
course,
there.
it only takes one more
Clear line.
caution, and then we'll be absolutely fine. So it's, you know, not a big concern or anything like that, but yeah, might make the racing very interesting towards the end of the afternoon. So a little bit of a slide off the exit turn 4. See those two black trucks just closing in on me once again. I do always think, weirdly, the Toyota, the Tundra, looks the most menacing of all three of these in your mirror. Which, of course, is good, because that's exactly the truck I drive as well. But, yeah, already at lap 30 of 80 then, so we are ticking them by fairly effectively early on. Still a lot of racing to go. Again, just you're waiting for it to try and bite on the exit there, just waiting for it just to break traction. You really don't want it to, you just know it probably will at some point or another. I think actually, yeah, delaying the turn into turn 1, it should be a little bit better there. I mean, look at that, that time around, no real correction needed. Able to balance it pretty nicely. And if we can just kind of stay here for a while, I'm pretty happy with that one. Like I said, the only thing I'm worried about is if using the Highline does use more fuel, which I would assume it would. So obviously you're having to drive further, effectively. I reckon, yeah, we'd be pretty much bang on 7 laps short at the moment, but hopefully you can just keep trying to bring that fuel in the right direction. Is what I love though, when you get a caution like that that could theoretically mix up the strategy towards the end of the afternoon. You just don't know whether it will or not. Is the big one there, but yeah, we're kind of hanging. You know, we're holding our own at the moment in a fairly competitive spot. Like I said, I think a lot of other people are either trying to fight their way back through or just are trying to play that fuel game perhaps a little bit earlier than I am. But, you know, it's part of the game. It's kind of the strategy gamble that you have to play. You know, do you try and make sure that you do that, and it could be for naught if we get another caution? Or do you just focus on doing your own thing, trying to drive this thing as quickly as you can for as long as you can, and maybe gain out that way towards the end of the afternoon, you know, if there is another caution or something like that. I mean, that first one, it felt like it kind of came a little bit out of nowhere. I mean, a couple of instances up to that point, but yeah, no idea what really kind of happened. I assume someone off the exit of turn 2 just got a little bit loose and lively, maybe doored someone else and kind of span them out in towards the wall. I mean, yeah, look at that. The Indiana car and the Jegs car are looking a little bit sketchy around each other as well. At the moment there as well, the Indiana truck again. Well, I'm going to follow him that time around. That was a pretty substantial buff of the wall. Luckily, again, only a 0x, but yeah, we'll definitely notice that damage on the paintwork at the end of the afternoon.
That lap was a 33.72.
Yeah, just going to try and keep one eye on that fuel as best as I can.
Car number 7, and their rating is 3.1.
It is moving around a little bit, of course. See, it will just move around a lot. It kind of is quite flexible early on, and I guess obviously towards the end of a stint as well, because the tyres will be wrecked. We will be probably using just a little bit less fuel anyway. But is 60 laps even viable in these trucks? I mean, it could be worth obviously trying to take a small splash of fuel whilst you put fresh tyres on towards the end of the afternoon. I just don't know really does depend on, obviously, whether you end up with another caution or not. Which I'm hoping if we do get another one, it'll be caused by those behind me, as opposed to those in front. But it could happen anywhere. I could cause it. There's every possibility that might happen. So again, there you just see it right up towards the wall. Right up towards the top. It does feel like there's a little bit that kind of pushes you back away from it sometimes. Which, if you can get that, it works quite nicely. Just, I think, you know, it could well be the air getting kind of squeezed between the truck and the wall. But certainly not going to rely on it all too much. Yeah, that fuel usage is kind of still floating around. It's, you know, kind of at about lap 73. But still, some laps it feels like it just dips below, other laps it feels like it just it kind of floats above.
Their rating is 3.0.
By the way, we're doing alright at the moment. We've just got to focus on keeping out of the wall. They're 3 wide up the road. It's quite impressive, but yeah, we can just hang around in 10th for as long as I can. That would be fantastic news, because there's definitely a lot of quick people behind me still in this race. But admittedly, yeah, myself and the 26 truck, both of us are like a good 200-300 iRating below anybody else. He's running up in P13 at the moment, so we're both kind of, you know, hanging on in there. It's not obviously quite the same as circuit racing and things like that, but it is still, you know, there is definitely a noticeable skill gap. Almost at a half distance here. I'm just trying to pivot the car off the brake through one, and then just get the power down nice and gradually on the exit as well. Nice and easy, nice and easy. Got to be even more careful with it through 3 and 4. But if we can just hold it like that, that works pretty well for us at this stage. So, yeah, that's exactly what we want to be doing. Just be careful not to tip it in too much, because, of course, the more aggressively you drive it in, the more you either have to lean on the brake or use the steering. And that just takes life out of the tyre. So that's what, again, we've got to be really careful of. Starting to lose those top 9 trucks just a little bit. Under a bit more pressure from the guy behind, but it's to be expected here. That's not ideal. It's to slowly be expected now. I was kind of thinking we'll probably start dropping back just a little bit more. Always helps when I look at the road rather than
You've just done a
standings. Yeah, that lap was particularly bad anyway. Oh, come on. Get the throttle down. Try not to slide again too much. Like I said, it's so difficult because you want to maintain a little bit of a slide, but certainly not as much as I'm occasionally getting for those corners there. And again, sometimes you just have to give it a little flick the other way of steering, just to try and make sure that it squares back up nicely. This guy behind me is flying along faster than the leader that time round, so he's looking pretty good at this stage. Maybe play the long game. So we'll try and go for a high in, low out approach there, and I don't think that's going to make much difference. They're kind of helping me along either. Yeah, not many laps left of fuel. It is definitely starting to count down a little bit more, and like I said, there's kind of only so much you can do to try and save it in a race like this. Maybe the low line could work.
The gap to E12 behind is now 0.6.
It will shift around that much either.
That was a 34.58.
I think we've got to try it though, haven't we? Ooh, nice and easy. We'll try and see if the low line can find us something, but it is going to take a very, very different adaptation to our racing lines. I think if we can just kind of hold it just over that inside groove. Oh, that could work fantastically, but of course you just cannot carry the speed off. So we'll again take another few laps out of the tyres. Whew, that was scary.
Your last lap time was a 34.80.
Is it going to work? Are we going to save any kind of noticeable amount of fuel? I just don't feel like I've got the pace down here is the problem, more than anything else. It's going to be the really tricky thing in this race, and say when you end up in situations like that, you've got no choice but to use the high line still.
Still there. Inside.
Yeah, I've got a choice not to hit the wall though. Which apparently I'm not doing a very good job of at the moment. Still somehow only on 0x,
which is rather impressive.
Still there, V12. That was
Definitely are saving a tiny bit relative to where it thinks we are, but not enough still.
Still there.
This stage.
Clear
Kind of
inside.
just, in the ideal world for me, we just get another caution with like 15 to go. Kind of what I'm hoping for.
Car low.
Ugh, apologies.
Clear low.
Didn't actually think I made contact with him there. Make sure we give him a bit of room on the exit. Don't try and completely lean on him yet again. I
V13.
think more and more trucks though are starting just to try and play the fuel game
Hold your line.
a little bit more, especially as the tyres go off. Like I said,
Inside's clear.
will be ever so slightly easier,
Clear inside.
but it's just how bad are the tyres going to feel. I mean, effectively, but if it went green to the end, we are halfway through this stint.
Hold your line. Still there. Clear low. Car low.
Nice and easy.
Still
Like I said, the
there.
goal first and foremost is just to get to the end.
14. You've just done a 35.
We are saving a little bit of
Inside.
fuel.
Inside. Still there.
Ugh.
Clear inside.
I said it's just you don't know whether anybody else is thinking about it or not, or whether everybody else has already been doing it for 15 laps. Because there's so many different lines around here that work for some and don't for others. You never quite know what people's actual game plan is.
Lighton, car number 11, is leading the race.
We are definitely saving a little bit more now.
P16.
So with the way the field's spreading out though, it could well be we just don't see another caution, but with the way that guy's trying to wheel that thing around, there could be a caution immediately, for all I know. Either way, if we get another caution, I'm
Car
not
ahead
putting more
is
fuel in
Smith,
this thing.
car number 21.
It's had its top up
Rating
for the
is
race.
2.2.
I don't intend on giving it any more. So we will hopefully, if that is the case, try and make up a couple of spots on pit road.
Clear low.
But only time will tell. If we did get another caution, I would absolutely be pitting though. That's the other thing.
Car low.
Ugh.
Clear car low. Clear car inside.
Whoa. That was scary. And a little bit of the air coming off the other truck there and just really made it unpredictable. So I think I definitely took a bit too much out of the tyres though again. Or just cannot hold on to them as well as others can. But come on, we're doing alright. Still plenty of time in this race.
P17.
So we had pretty much exactly fuel to get us to lap 75 at the end of that one. So we are definitely saving it. It's just whether we can save an extra 5 laps worth inside 30. That's quite a tall order here. But we'll wait and see. Like I said, the goal first and foremost was just try and get to the end. As there we go, someone already peeling in. Clearly just fancies trying to even up the stints to the end of the afternoon. I don't blame them. They might be very, very quick. Of course, as long as we don't get a caution towards the end of this. Well, the problem is, of course, you're going to lose a good lap and a half here, I would assume. It's going to be at least a lap, isn't it? Which is still going to be quite difficult to kind of close back in towards the end of the race.
Inside's clear.
So it's something I would feel very, very kind of against doing still at this stage of the afternoon.
Laps behind.
So we saved another 0.3 laps or 0.2-ish laps worth of fuel as there he goes.
15.
So you lose, yeah, just over a lap by boxing. And of course now, obviously, if we get another caution, he's got to hope he's going to be the lucky dog candidate. Oh. 28 laps to go. 23 laps worth of fuel. I mean, it's all NASCAR really is. It's just a numbers game. Always has been. Always will be. Just really trying to eliminate the wheel spin off the exit there as much as anything else. Hopefully it'll just save a little bit more fuel.
13th
Lost
place.
one. There's definitely a few more trucks starting to pit though, so people are thinking about it. I think, yeah, we've got, apart from the one guy now that's manually disconnected, I think we've still got all 25 trucks still here as the sun's setting at Homestead. I mean, that guy's just going to start flying, isn't he? He's got to try and find his way around those other trucks as well, so we've got to be careful now. Obviously, with those lapped cars that will be a whole lot quicker. But will they be able to make up a lap before the end? I think you probably could be in a position where you could
P11.
by the end of this. I mean, even if you're just a second a lap faster, there's pretty much enough time to the end of the afternoon, especially if everybody does have to start pitting right towards the end. I'm going to try and stick to my strategy here. But it really might not pay dividends.
Inside.
I think, there you go. There goes the 21, unlapping himself
They're
immediately. I reckon, yeah, at the moment you're more than a second a lap faster than those of us that haven't pit yet. I mean, he pulled 7/10 off me off a turn 4, so that's rather impressive. Problem is, of course, you are going to have to run different lines, which is not going to be easy.
The gap to P8 ahead is now 0.84.
Ugh.
Clear
It's
inside.
scary. I mean, the big goal for me still is just trying not to go a lap down, I guess. So there we go. More and more trucks are diving in, though, so people are definitely feeling it's the way to go.
Inside.
Guess we've just got to try and throw something different at it
Still there.
and just see what happens. No idea what
Still
position
there.
we're up to at this stage of the race, but I think we're up inside the top 10 then. So
Hold your line.
if we could make this work,
Carlo.
could work fantastically for us, but again,
This is good.
so
Clear
we've
low.
still got to try and manage the fuel towards
Car
the
inside.
end, but I'm just hoping for a bit of a miscommunication
there.
between a couple of trucks. Potentially brings out
Still
another
there.
caution and puts us in a great
Clear
spot
low.
towards the end of the afternoon. It's all we can hope for. There is an element of luck.
Dharma, car number
These kind of
23
things as
is
well.
now in the
There's
lead.
another one into the pit lane then. There's a few of us just trying to hang on out there at the moment. And of course, obviously, all those guys that were right at the front, and they're not going to be a lap down. It's just going to show they're obviously closing in on me at a rapid rate of knots. So we'll wait and see what happens. Still more than 20 laps to go, though. So we definitely could get another caution by the end of this one. But yeah, that fuel is just not quite moving the way I want it to. Let's try and do just bigger lifts. I mean, I'm not really using the brake, of course, ever. If I can avoid it. Whoa. It's not ideal. Just about hang on to it again. Try and get back up to the racing line. Yeah, we just seem to be able to save a little bit of fuel for a few laps, and then it just doesn't budge again. I think that kind of the fuel calculation corrects itself. It kind of overestimates for a few laps and then kind of realigns. But I mean, like I said, we just want to see if there's a caution or something, anything
Ahead is now
towards the
1.00.
end. And again, obviously, my iRacing is so low here that if we gamble it and do gain out in the end, we could be on for quite a big payday by the end of this
Eighth
one.
place.
Guy not that far behind me though is setting very quick laps. So he was running, they're going over 2 seconds a lap faster.
The gap to P9
So I think we could
behind
definitely
is
make
now
up the time.
0.91.
If you really wanted to, we might go for a splash quite soon here, I reckon. Might be the way to go towards the end of this one. Hopefully kind of have a bit of an advantage over some of the other trucks again. But like I said, I just don't want to go a lap down, because if we do, we're not going to be lucky, dog. So it's really, really tricky to kind of work it out. It's really, really tricky as well. Come on, hang on to it. Hang on. There we go. Just about held onto it again.
Leader, Lighton, is pitting.
Then more of your leaders are peeling into the pit lane though, so it's very much kind of everybody doesn't think we're going to get another caution by the end of this one. I'm really hoping we are. As now I think some of the guys that are closing in on us are the ones that have boxed in this
P5.
race, so yeah, we're going to see a huge pace delta. I mean, for me, I'm just going to try and hold the high line and pray
He's still there.
that's enough to kind of keep me out of
Hold your
trouble.
line.
Say it's the amount of
still there.
speed these guys have got.
Still there.
Try and go for a big blend on the way in, just let them all
Clear
go.
inside.
So they've still got to try and recover a lap on me by the end. Obviously, that's if I don't have to pit though, which is looking more and more like we might, annoyingly. Reckons we could get to 76 now. It's just not going up enough, is it, at this stage? We're up to P4 though at this race, which is quite good going. 100 iRacing, even if we finish 4th, that is staggering. I certainly would not expect that. I mean, we certainly won't finish here unless things go perfectly for us. Come on, nice and easy. As I said, the annoying bit is we are definitely still saving a little bit.
Schroeder is reeling you
It's
in.
just
The
probably
gap's
not
now
going to be enough.
0.49.
Yeah. All I just need is a couple of nice big pushes from someone. See who's willing to give me a push. Actually, what we really just want is a caution. That's kind of what I'm hoping for here. Hedge our bets, try and force a load of trucks a lap down. Look at that, we're able to get the power down that time. Although this, I think, yeah, this is one of the only guys that also hasn't opted to box. There's someone trying to cut between us.
Carlo.
It's not ideal.
Inside's clear.
Ugh. Again, just try and hang on.
Car inside. Clear inside. Car down low.
So how far can these things go when they're
Still there.
spluttering? That's the other question. So even if we just
Still
get to
there.
the last lap, that could be quite handy.
Still
This
there.
guy, well, I thought he was going to give me a push then, but he's not.
Hold your line.
Yeah.
He's still there. Still
We're
there.
trying to blend out the throttle, buddy.
Clear low.
Obviously, a lot of other people aren't. We'll try and get the slipstream again. Try and just save a little bit more. It's a really, really fun race strategy though. As I've said before, when iRacing NASCAR's good, it is so good. But it can also be so painful, as we found out at Phoenix.
P5. Clear low.
I want to try and use that guy for slipstream, but I'm convinced it's going to happen.
Inside.
Ugh,
inside.
the air there as he went past me. That was awful.
The guy ahead is Schroeder, car number 9, and their rating is 3.0.
I mean, yeah, some of the guys that have pitted have now gone past us again. But we have kind of completely gone all in on this strategy late on in the day. I just don't think unless we start doing some big, I mean, yeah, if we do some big lifts, it's just not going to be worth it, is it? Because obviously we may as well just then box and get fuel, get tyres, everything like that.
Landwehr, car number 3, is leading the race.
There you go, another one boxing late on. So we've just got to try and hang out here as best as we can.
P4.
So it's just if we get a late caution, something, anything. I don't want to box now and potentially lose out kind of on both sides of it. Ugh. Get another nice big snap. Look how quick that guy is! Out of nowhere.
Clear inside. Got a car low. Still there.
I
Still
don't know
there.
when Schroeder's going to dive in.
Still there. He's still there.
I don't know how we're racing this guy particularly.
Hold
Oh,
your
he's
line.
also on wreck tyres. That makes sense.
Still there. Inside's clear.
How have we not had another caution in this race, man? That's what I want to know. Ow. Six laps worth of fuel, though. I don't think it's going to happen.
Car number 1 is now in the lead.
We'll try and use this guy for a bit of slipstream again.
P7. Car inside. Still
Big
there.
lifts
Clear
now
low.
into turn 1.
Car low. Clear inside.
Could it go green to the end? think it might.
Carlo.
Problem, of course, when you do these higher SOF races, you're just not used to races that go green this long. Oh, hello. No idea where that guy appeared from, but certainly made his appearance known.
You've got about 4 laps of fuel left. The next car is Wilkins, car number 5.
Just going to set it
the
up
rating is
so we've got the
3.8.
fuel if we need to. Yeah, fuel's in. Tyres will be going on.
21st. Behind is now 1.43. 12 laps behind.
Still, none of us are going to dive in just yet. We are going to... I mean, at this point, you may as well try and hang it out for as long as you can. But I guess we probably want to use those
Got
fresh
about 3 laps
tyres.
of fuel left.
I think we'll try and
The next
dive
car
in.
is Tompkins, car number
End of this
22,
one.
and their rating is 2.2.
I mean, look at the speed. Given the high line.
Car outside.
3
Clear
laps
high.
worth of fuel. We are just going to have to take a little bit. Oh, nice and easy.
Watch your speed limit in
Just
the
like
pits.
it to slow down onto the pit road. That was a little bit scary there, but yeah, we are going to go 1 lap down then, I think, in this race. But hopefully we might be able to get a couple of spots back. Well, by the end of it, it is
2
just going to be a
laps of fuel
splash and
remaining.
dash.
Right front, 45%.
Oh, should I have
Front
taken
left,
tyres? I'm not sure I should have taken
74%.
tyres. I think they might just cost us a little bit too much time, but we've got to just go for it. Now we just got to pray we don't get a caution. Come on, let's go. 30 laps worth of fuel. They certainly like to give you a little bit of spare. But say we need to see what the gaps are to the guys around me, because hopefully we'll have you know, if those two have to pit
There's a
that
car
we were
behind. Stay
racing,
inside the line.
hopefully we'll get the jump on them. But you just don't know late on. Maybe they've done a slightly better job with the fuel.
Number 20, C license.
Maybe
Their
they'll run it
rating
on the
is
last lap
2.2.
and potentially keep a few spots because of that. But let's go again then. Low... Oh, I mean, look how far down the order we are. I think we're down to 22nd in this race. But what is the gap to the guy in front of me? There's so much grip late on as the sun has set here. So that works out quite nicely for us. What is the gap to the truck in front? See, Riley, who is 17, sorry, he's 11 seconds up the road. So no idea how we're taking that much time out of him so quickly, but we're going to keep trying to close that gap down. Oh, as long as I don't do that. We can afford to do that. We don't have long left. So yeah, we certainly won't get back on the lead lap either. So we are just going to have to be careful with it. So there are still at least a few trucks laps down on me. There's the guy trying to limp round to the end. So he is dropped down to P13 now then, or P14 even, I think, in this race. Trying to get under the 21.
You're clear outside.
Yeah, that's one of the guys we want to try and chase down. There's Riley now 10 seconds up the road. So I'm starting to feel like, again, we might just have messed up this strategy. Yes, well, not messed it up necessarily, but just tried to gamble it the wrong way. It might really, really punish us here late on. We might still see a couple more guys have to pit towards the end. We're down to 23rd though, so we really have lost a lot out in all of this. No idea what the fastest lap of the night is, but hopefully we're going to be able to get somewhere close to it. Try and get the drive off of turn 2 there. Oh, someone's gone. Hopefully that's... Oh, no! That is a shame. Late on, no idea what happened to him. I don't know if he was one of the ones on fuel, but... One car wreck there, and I think... I mean, we might just get a restart, but I think that is our race pretty much over. Pace car then coming back round. Luckily, we have been able to get the lead lap back, so I think everybody at the front of the order opted to take some fresh tyres, so hopefully we're going to be able to catch back up. Still waiting on the 15 car just to close in on where he needs to be. But as we get ready to go green flag racing once again, then there might be some opportunities if there's some chaos right at the end of this one, as myself and the 15... Come on, mate, you got to get on with it. I can't jump you until we get to the line. That is rather awkward for us, but we'll get round him. We've got 2 more laps to go then. here from Homestead. The 14 trucks almost wrecked. We'll try and get around him. We've definitely got fresher tyres than some of these guys. 12 truck is definitely one of those, but annoyingly that's not for position here. So we need to try and just be a little bit brave. Oh, towards the end there, the 18 just covers us off. We should be able to get to his inside as well. One more lap to go then, here from Homestead. Hopefully, come on, I just want to try and get back to neutral iRacing. That would be quite nice, around the outside. Oh, that guy there, will we find the grip? Yes, we will, just about get a bit of bite from the front. That should promote us into P17 then, so hopefully that's going to mean that we're not going to lose any iRacing from this one. Will we see chaos, though, through the final corner? We are going to absolutely try and throw it in. See if we can just get a little bit closer to the guy in front there. Make sure I don't hit the wall on the exit. I think we're going to walk away with P17 at the end of this one. So after all of that, we basically end up exactly where I started. Little bit annoyed with that lapped car right at the end there, because had he gone, then we might have been able to get a couple of extra spots right at the end. But yeah, that was a really, really good fun race nonetheless. Only 2 cautions as well throughout. So yeah, let's go take a look at our final race results. Well, there we are then, having a look at our final race results. 0.35 SR gained, 1 I rating as well, so all green. I think we can be pretty happy in that one there. Nathaniel will take the dub, though, as the number 3 truck. 30 laps led ahead of Dustin there. Chris in 3rd ahead of Tyler and Loris. Like I said, for us, we started P18, we ended up P17 there. I think your award for most places gained is going to be Eldon, 26th. Up to P12, unless there's any big surprises. 19th to 2nd's pretty good going there by Dustin as well, but he was the number 1 truck in that race. But there we are then. We survived Homestead. That was a really, really good fun one in terms of strategy as well. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon with more iRacing content.